G'day everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse, Tuckerwood, Marks Point, for this Friday's fishing report. At the moment, we're right here at Marks Point, and just to the right of me here is the drop over, a very, very popular spot, and no doubt this summer we'll be getting heavily worked. Look, what's happening this weekend is you had the full moon roll through last night, and we're going to get a little bit of northerly into a nor'easter tomorrow, and then a southerly is going to come in with a few showers on Sunday. Take advantage of this afternoon and tomorrow. Mild wind conditions out of the north, a little bit more of a puff later on. Finally we can start to get outside, and we're starting to see that expansion of boats heading down towards the Texas, out towards the farm, and even today there's been quite a few guys head to the shelf. Been some really promising news coming in from that deep water out on the shelf. There's a lot of longliners out of Port Stephens at the moment working east of the port, and there's some real good upwellings happening and very little current, around about 0.3 to 0.6 of a knot. Things are looking good for yellowfin. The signs are that there's yellowfin and marlin out there at the moment, so hopefully next week I'll be able to hit some good reports, because I know there's a lot of game fishermen itching to get out there, and a lot of clubs are actually starting their competition as of this week. The current on basically the farm area down towards the Texas has dropped right away, and this is an influence of these currents off the coast at the moment. So you just have to move around a bit, because there's nothing worse in that deep water when you have little current. It's very hard to pick up your fish. So there was a few kings a little bit further south, and again you'll just expand a little bit more on it. Flathead out the front, still a few reds in close, and salmon and tailor have just started to move well away. On our beaches, again, the real increase this week has been whiting. Some beautiful whiting getting caught off the beaches, getting the odd dart, few brim, and of course with that moon you've got to think about having a crack for a mulloway off the beach. I think that's a real good tip, particularly tonight and tomorrow night as that barometer starts to drop with that impending southerly change. If you're going to go off the rocks, well, there last week, and as you've seen, it looked pretty good, getting plenty of luderick and drummer around, and there's still the odd tailor getting caught in the washes. The attention over the next week to 2 weeks will be where we are now in the estuary itself. As you can see, a few boats starting to move around. No doubt there's a couple of boats out here now getting some squid. Been some really nice mulloway getting caught. The drop over, of course, down towards Murray's, very good, spots to get out there and have a bit of a crack for a squid. But there's been some beautiful fish, 10 to 15 kilo, getting caught with this build up to the moon. Tonight and tomorrow night will be absolutely ideal if you can get out there and have a go. That southerly not coming through till the wee hours of Sunday morning. A big build up of whiting all week. Tube worms in particular have been working very, very well. A lot of guys catching 6, 8 fish. I heard a good report the other day. One of the boys caught a dozen whiting up to around about 38 centimetres. Last week, when we were doing the report, there wasn't that many fish in the system. This week it's just really taken off. It's because in 7 to 10 days time we're going to have the prawn run. Those prawns are just going to be pouring down this channel through that dark period on the run out tide, and it'll go for around about 7 or 10 days as well. The fish have moved in and they're waiting for this run. So I've got to be honest, by the time we do the report next Friday, we'll be talking about the quality of the prawns, and we'll be talking up this fishing in the estuary, because brim whiting in particular are going to be on fire. Been a few guys just in front of me here as we did the report, throwing a few plastics for flathead. These flathead will start to move into the system, particularly around a lot of these flats and on the fringes of the lake. So there's some really good fishing happening in the next few weeks, and I think the highlight's going to be this prawn run. Now this week's winner of the ZEREK Fish Trap Award is going to be, and this young fella has been very, very keen. I think about every week for the last 4 or 5 weeks he sent me in an entry, and this week it's worked for him because he caught a beautiful flounder, and those ZEREK fish traps work fantastic on those fish like flathead and flounder off the bottom. So young Kayden Bilbe, if you could sort of give us a call on down, that way we can arrange for you to pick up those 2 fish traps, that will be wonderful. Now one of the new products has come out this week, and it's only just arrived in store, is a little soft plastic that's out, which Mustard have brought out. I know there's a million soft plastics out on the market. This one has some really good potential. It comes out in 3 and a 3.5 inch, just a couple of the colours we've got there. It's got a really loose paddle tail on it. This is the sort of lure over the next couple of weeks of the prawn run on that's going to really cause some damage with some flathead. Tight lines, hope you do well this week. Play safe, see you next Friday.